There's finally a drug for postpartum depression. Too bad it's dull. Brexanolone was designed to address an unmet medical need. It's also complex. Who have a baby go on to experience the black cloud of postpartum depression. More intense. To date, there's been no antidepressant specifically designed for these new moms. So many women are, on Tuesday, the approved Brexanolone. Sold under the brand. Postpartum depression is a serious condition that, when severe, can be life-threatening. Women may experience, but the new drug also requires a lot of women their time and money. And ultimately, the drug costs $34,000 per patient without insurance, according to. Even if a woman still, for the subset of women with very severe postpartum depression, the drug could be a game changer, said Lucy Puryear, medical director of Center for Reproductive Psychiatry at Texas Children's Pavilion for Women in Houston, who was not involved with any clinical studies of the drug. These are women who postpartum depression is believed to be the most common complication of childbirth, affecting shortly before or within a year after delivery. While the disorder, what sets PPD apart, however, is that new moms are recovering from a majorly stressful physical event, you delivering a baby, and they're also suddenly charged with caring for a new life. So symptoms of moms who experience these feelings don't always want to report them, since they may feel. Couple that with the fact to date, women with depression during pregnancy, or in the months after, have only had the treatments available to everybody with depression, counseling and antidepressants. But the drugs have come. Even more frustrating though PPD is so pervasive, like many women's health questions, doctors still don't know precisely what causes it. Their best guess is, there's a subset of women nobody understands why yet and their brains are susceptible to that drop in hormones that occurs for all women, Puryear said. The developers of Brexanolone decided to go after this hormonal mechanism for postpartum depression, and that's why the drug is unique. It's actually targeting what many people believe is the trigger for postpartum depression itself, Puryear said. So it's adding back. Brexanolone was also tested in women with moderate to severe postpartum depression in multiple clinical trials. And it appears to take in 21 women with severe PPD were randomly assigned to. Each group rated. The women in the Brexanolone group experienced a significant and clinically meaningful reduction in their depression score compared to the women on the placebo drug. The drug moved women, published in Lancet, each involving more than 100 women. The drug again outperformed placebo after a 60-hour infusion. It's worth remembering, again, that antidepressants can take weeks to work, and they don't always help women with PPD. So the fact that of course, the drug wasn't without side effects. The most common these studies were short-term, only following women for a month. So we also don't. Instead, they have to go to a healthcare provider in a clinic that's been certified to deliver Brexanolone, and they need to stay in the clinic for 2.5 days while the drug is administered through a continuous 4 infusion. Because of the risk of serious harm due to the sudden loss of consciousness, patients must be monitored for excessive sedation and sudden loss of consciousness, the FDA warned. They also need to have, if moms decide to have their babies around while taking the infusion, they have to be accompanied by others. And the drug may have. What this drug adds, said Yale University psychiatrist, is that it's a different mechanism than most of the medicines we currently have. So it may be for. Sage says that in determining the price of Brexanolone, it considered the fact that postpartum depression represents an unmet medical need, and that it's a one-time treatment with the opportunity rapid relief. Each insurance it's important to have a medication that was developed specifically for the treatment of postpartum depression, Yonkers said. But we have concern.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up in the park pot.